Hello, everybody. It's the Sean Show, Season 2, Episode 8. Talking about Week 6 NFL football. Alright, let's get to the agenda. This is going to be a short show today. Just telling you, it is a late one. It is a late one, but that's fine. That's fine. We've still got time. We've still got time. I didn't update the agenda, but just to add a 1 to all of those, we're going sim results, sim prediction, against spread picks, lines we like, and bets. Let's get into it. Alright, so the sim results for week 5. The sim went 7 and 7. Currently has it's a pick rate of 50%, obviously. Let's see how it went. It picked the London game. It picked the Thursday night football game, as we know. Picked the Ravens. They lost. Giants lost. Surprising Giants. Surprising. They dominate a team. They dominate a good team. Which team was that? They dominate the Chargers, and then they lose to the Saints, and then they go and beat the Super Bowl champs. I don't know what's going on with this Jets team. It's a culture change. I'm a fan of it. I've always wanted Big Blue to do good, despite them living in the Factory of Sadness 2.0, and that's fine. The model somehow also picked the other resident of the Factory of Sadness 2.0, the Jets, and they lost to the Cowboys. Broncos also upset the Eagles. That's interesting. Anyway, let's move on to this week. I know that the sim picked the Bills and Kansas City, but when I went over the tape and we went over my picks, I did pick the Pats and I did pick the Jags. Kind of knew it was coming. That's fine. Just remember to listen to me. Anyway, let's go to our Sims picks, and we'll talk about my picks as well. Now, the Sim is currently 4 and 1 on Thursday night football, and I don't want to jinx it, but it's currently got every Tampa Bay game correct. So maybe go with the model here when we get to Tampa Bay at least. So the Giants upset the Philadelphia Eagles, as I mentioned. Now let's go on to the London game, which will be happening in about 2.5 hours. The Sim has picked the Denver Broncos, and I am inclined to agree. Now, this Jets team will eventually get it figured out. It took Dan Campbell 2 seasons to do the culture change turnaround in Detroit. So we don't have huge expectations for the Jets this season, but in the future, I think we will. Especially they're gonna likely get a very high draft pick this season as well. So it's just gonna even more enforce that good defense and that good offense. And hopefully they get a good tight end. Hopefully they keep Justin Fields. Anyway, let's roll on. We've got the Broncos there. Now, the Sim did pick the Baltimore Ravens here, and the Sim did think that the opposite quarterback, Matt Stafford, was probably going to get hurt at this point with all the health trailer news that was outside of LA camp. But turns out Lamar's got injured, so Sim's gone with the Ravens. I'm going with the LA Rams here. Not much to say here. Cooper Rush, sometimes he can pull it out of the bag, but most of the time he doesn't. Next, we've got the Dallas Cowboys going to Carolina. The Sim has picked the Cowboys. I am inclined to agree with that. Let's move on. It's also picked the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to agree with that. Let's move on. Not much to say here. Now, actually, Arizona could put up a bit of a fight. And that's all I'm going to say about that. They probably won't. Next. It's picked the Jaguars against the Seahawks here. The Jags, I think, are sitting pretty right now. I think they're on 4 and 1. The Seahawks also are kind of killing it right now. This is a tough one. I think the spread for this game is basically a pick'em. It's 0.5 either way. I would love to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars here at home, riding high off a massive win last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. I do think this is Seahawks game though. I really do think it is Seahawks game now. I did mention before last week the Jacksonville Jags have picked off each quarterback twice in all of their games. And let me just double check if they picked off Mahomes twice. They only got him once. Now, Sam Darnold has been pretty clean this season. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. This is probably gonna be a very good game. I'd love to see Jacksonville do very well. Anyway, moving on to the next game, Chargers versus Dolphins. I'm going with the Chargers here. Dolphins have absolutely stunk lately. No running game for the Chargers, I believe, so they're going to be airing it out. And Miami doesn't have the best secondary, so yeah, they're gonna cop some TDs. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns going into Pittsburgh. Model has picked Steelers. This is a tough one. I do want to agree with them, the sim, but it is a divisional game. The Steelers are coming off a bye. Okay, now Cleveland just lost in London, so they're going to be pissed. They've got a new quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. I think we're going to go with the Cleveland Browns here. It's going to be a low-scoring affair. Rodgers doesn't do great when he's pressured. I've seen it. Myles Garrett's probably going to hit him a few times, get a sack at least once. Yeah, I'm going Cleveland Browns here. Next, we got New England Patriots versus the Saints, going the Pats. Not much to say about that game. Then we've got the Raiders hosting the Tennessee Titans. Now, the sim did pick the Raiders. It was expecting this Raiders team to be much better. Hopefully, they start figuring it out. But I am going with Tennessee here. I think those guys are slightly trending upward. It's their time to start moving upward. They were able to snatch a win last week against the Arizona Cardinals. Raiders, bit of a shit show at the moment. Not much to say about it. Okay, so the sim has picked the San Francisco 49ers to go in to Tampa Bay and get the win there. As I've said, it has been right every single week for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I am going to hold on to my pants and go with the San Francisco 49ers here. I'm not betting on this game. I think you just let this one go. You could do a touchdown parlay or something like that, but in terms of picking the winner, I would not. Next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals going into Green Bay. Green Bay coming off a bye. Cincinnati Bengals with their new quarterback, Joe Flacco. Man, he beat us once. Can he beat us twice? I have been listening to a lot of shows, listening to a lot of stats. I think there has only been 4 times in NFL history that a quarterback has been traded within their division during the season. Obviously, Bengals and Cleveland Browns in the same division, AFC North, the Steelers and the Ravens. But I don't believe there has ever been a time where a quarterback has faced the same team because of a trade like this. This is the first time in history. Now, I did tell you a couple of weeks ago that this Green Bay team is a team that has been ruining all the records that they have built up over the years. And I do believe, unfortunately, that this might be another one of those times. And I don't want to believe it. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers here. Maybe the sim knows something that I don't. Maybe me from 7 weeks ago knew something that I don't today. We'll find out. Alright, Sunday Night Football. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Detroit Lions. This again is going to be a tough pick. The Lions getting... Kansas City actually getting 2.5 points at home on the spread as we will go into that. This is a really tough game, so the Lions are the Lions, and that's fine. Kansas City is not who they have been in the past, so you'd be inclined to go with the Detroit Lions here. The sim has picked Kansas City Chiefs again. I wonder if it knows something that we don't. I wonder if the books know something that we don't. But Kansas City, I don't believe they've lost 2 in a row for a very long time, and the way they lost last week, I really think that they are pissed. This is going to be a pretty good matchup, I believe. Otherwise, Detroit's just going to dominate them. It's a tough call. I'm going to go with Detroit. the kingdom might be on a downtrend, just like the Ravens. It happens. It happens to the best of them. I mean, even the Eagles seem to be almost on a downtrend. Anyway, let's move on to an uptrending team, the Bills, going into Atlanta. Now, I just want to reiterate, I'm picking the Lions there. So the Bills going into Atlanta. The Sims picked the Bills. I'm picking the Bills. Coming off that loss in New England last week, it is a divisional game. It's going to be a tough game, and Mike Vrabel's a very good coach. We're going the Bills here. Now, the Falcons can put up some points. I don't think that Bills defense is amazing, but we're going with the Bills here. Next, we've got the Bears on Monday Night Football going into Washington to take on the Commanders. Jaden Daniels is back. I do believe they won their game last week. I'm not going to fact check that. Bears are on an uptrend. Washington is back on their standard uptrend from last year. The Sims picked the Washington Commanders. I am a bit of a masochist, and I kind of want to pick the Bears here. I know they're in my division. I should want my division to do well. But I do kind of want to see the Bears do well. I'd like to see the NFC North all go to the playoffs. Obviously, I want Packers to win it, but you know what I mean. By this week, we've got the Minnesota Vikings and the Texans. Now, the simulation is on a season record of 44 and 34. We're not counting the tie. And it's a season pick rate of 56.4. Now, that's probably better than a lot of you out there. So, I don't know much to say. The Sim's doing better than most of us, honestly. We're getting shit on by a sim that was created 7 weeks ago. Next, let's go to ATS against the spread. This is the section that we are horrible at, and I understand I'm horrible at this, so I really don't bet against the spread anymore. This is just a fun thing that I do. And it's obviously much harder to pick against the spread than just to pick winners and losers sometimes. So last week's record was 6-7. Season record is 29-43. It's really bad. So Thursday Night Football, New York Giants beat the Philadelphia Eagles 34-17 in a game-rocking show that hopefully shows a new future for the New York Giants. In London, in 2.5 hours, we have the Denver Broncos being hosted by the Jets. They're getting 7.5 points. I think that's a lot of points. I'm going with the Jets, plus 7.5 here. Next game. Why did I not pick this game? I have not picked this game. One moment. Insert a row, please. Thank you. We want the Rams at minus 7.5. Boom. Minus 7.5. Why is my list like this? I'm gonna blame somebody. I'm gonna blame the graphics team. Now, the graphics team has nothing to do with the spreadsheets of the show. I just give them the data, and they just make the spreadsheets. I pay them about $1,000 in an hour. It's a bit excessive, I know. I understand it's a bit ridiculous that I'm paying the graphics team to make this crap for me when I could do it myself, and it's just ridiculous. Rams, thank you. I'm sorry about this, everybody. Let's move on. Now, Cowboys versus the Panthers. I'm going with the Cowboys here. Yeah, Dak Prescott football is amazing. He has been on his business since the Packers game. 3.5 is nothing, I don't think, in this game. Now, the Panthers did have an uptick. They are kind of trending upwards slowly, and I think maybe Arizona Cardinals were just being punished for throwing the ball away on the 1-yard line. Cowboys 3.5 is a very good deal, I think. But who knows? I'm 29-43 for the season. Next, we've got the Arizona Cardinals plus 6.5 against the Colts. I'm going with the Colts here. 6.5. I don't think that's very much. The Colts have been putting a lot on teams. Cardinals have been keeping it close. That's true. But this Colts team, they're just something else. They're just a different beast, and they're going to be at home. Next game, we've got the Seahawks and the Jags. For some reason, I have picked the Jags in my earlier mindset, whereas just before I picked the Seahawks, and this one is basically a pick 'em. I think I went Jags just because they're at home. I'm changing that. I'm going with the Seahawks here. Seattle. Minus 0.5. I'll take that. Maybe flipping my choices on Showtime is the key to get these right, since it's been going bad so far. So let's keep this trend up. Next, we've got the Chargers and the Dolphins. Chargers getting minus 3.5 going into Miami. I'm going Chargers here. Not much to say. Next, we've got the Browns versus the Steelers. Now, I did mention that this is probably going to be a close game, and I do believe I picked the Browns before with the Steelers coming off the bye. I've also picked the Browns here, plus 5.5. It's a pretty good line. These divisionals are usually pretty tight. Next, we have the Patriots getting 3.5 points going into New Orleans. Pretty sure I picked the Patriots, and I have. Not much to say. The Saints did get a win last week against the Giants, an uptrending Giants, and you know it might be time for the Saints team to be on their own uptrend, because Kellen Moore is a bit of an offensive guru. So hopefully they start to get things worked out. I don't think they're going to be a whole lot special until they get Bub Means back next year. Then I think they go into the Super Bowl riding on the tails of Bub Means. We'll try to keep updated with him, but his season is over. Yeah. RIP Bub Means 2025, but 2026, dude's going to be the MVP. Stay tuned for that. Next, we've got the Tennessee Titans going in to Oakland. Oakland somehow getting 4.5 points. I don't really understand why here. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans plus 4.5. Yeah, rest in peace, Raiders 2025. Tampa Bay is getting 3.5 points, hosting the Niners. I've chosen the Buccaneers here, even though the sim has picked the Niners, and I did incline to agree, but I do kind of want the Buccaneers to have success because Baker Mayfield is a dude. Holy hell. Next, we got the Bengals plus 14.5 points against Green Bay. This is a trap. This is a big fat trap. Joe Flacco has thrown the ball longer in the NFL than any of the other players on either team has been in the NFL, and possibly the coaches too. 14.5. This man has Jamar Chase. This man has T. Higgins. They got a tight end. I can't think of his name. They got a running back. Holy hell. 14.5 points is too much. And the Packers, in typical fashion, we speak about starting fast, and we try to put some points up on the board quick, and we do that. We get a lead, but then we just rest on our laurels and let the other team get some garbage time points. And you know, if you're betting on the team to cover, Green Bay is not the team. I think Green Bay. I'm going with the Bengals 14.5 here. This is making me sad thinking about this whole matchup right here. That's upsetting. Next, we have the Detroit Lions plus 2.5 against Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. I've gone with the Lions here plus 2.5. We spoke about this in the previous section. We're not going to continue to talk about this. Both running backs are probably going to get a touchdown for the Lions. Amon-Ra is probably going to get a touchdown. Tesla is probably going to get a touchdown. Fucking Sam Laporta might get one too. Who knows? Who knows? Lions take this game. Could be a close one though. Could be Could be a low-scoring game, actually. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game because of the Detroit Lions. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills. 4.5 points going into Atlanta. I've got the Bills here. I think you should as well. I don't think Atlanta's upsetting anybody this week. Washington's getting 4.5 points on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears, who are trending upwards. This is going to be a really good game to watch. This is a revenge game for the Bears after they lost that very, very cocky Hail Mary play where that DB was seen, talking smack to the Washington crowd, saying that they'd won, and then he tries to run over to the Hail Mary play and actually bats it towards a Commanders player who catches it in the end zone and wins. So this is going to be a fun one to watch. I have got the Bears at 4.5. Alright, now it's the betting section of the show. Lines we like. My favorite dogs for this week are the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Seahawks. I also like the Cincinnati Bengals against the Packers. Don't ask me why. I like the Tennessee Titans as well against the Raiders. For some reason, they're dogs in that fight. I like the Detroit Lions against Kansas City. I've spoken out. For some reason, they're dogs. And I do like the Chicago Bears as well. Now, big spreads for this week. Big spreads. Big monies. So, Indianapolis Colts have been stomping on the throats of opponents, and as I said, the Cardinals have been keeping it close. 19.5 points here is probably doable for the Colts in Indianapolis. Next, we've got the Los Angeles Rams. I've got them at minus 13.5 against the Ravens. The Ravens have been getting absolutely shit on as of late. I think they lost to the Texans by 34 last week. Let me just double check that. 34 points, that is correct. So 13.5 is probably quite a modest line here, let's say. I've got the Buffalo Bills at 9.5 as well for our big spread section against the Falcons. This one's probably going to be a bit more of a closer game with the Falcons starting to figure out their offense. And the Buffalo Bills defense not being the most amazing thing at this point in time, but it will sturdy itself out, I believe. Okay, over-unders. Seahawks and Jags total points over 47.5. I like that. Cardinals and Colts total points over 47.5. I like that. We've got a lot of points overs today. Rams and Ravens as well over 44.5. Bengals and Packers total over 44.5. Now, I think the two most likely ones out of that are the Seahawks and the Bengals. If the other two were to come to fruition, it would be, Cardinals can do it. I do believe that can happen. Rams will have to put up a lot of points to get that 44.5 over. Ravens will score some points, so they'll contribute. So Rams might just need 34 points or something like that. Either way, these over-unders and the prop lines, these are just lines to bulk up any parlays that you do have. So running any individual one of these is not going to get you a great net profit, but parlaying them with something might help you boost your odds. With that being said, I do need to say, only gamble with what you're comfortable with, guys. I have a tendency to throw money away, but I'm very comfortable with the amount of money I do throw away. It doesn't impact my life. So just be wary when you are kind of, doing this stuff. With that said, okay, props. Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown. I like that. Keenan Allen also to grab a touchdown. Now, the Chargers don't really have much of a rushing game at the moment. I think all their running backs are injured. So, Justin Herbert's either going to have to run the ball himself, or he's going to be having to throw touchdowns. And I think Keenan Allen is one of his primary targets in there, being a all-pro veteran. Next, we've got Daniel Jones rushing over 16.5. I really do like this. Daniel Jones likes to get his legs moving. He likes to take a hit. Dude's a guy. Joe Flacco, his over-under was only one passing touchdown. That's insane. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, get out of it. I like that line. Next, our regular bets. This week, As you can see in our 5-game parlay, we are moving away from the spread because we've seen the record and I see the red on the spreadsheet and I understand it's not my strength. Moneyline's my strength. Los Angeles Chargers, taking out the Dolphins. I'm with them. New England Patriots, taking out the Saints at home. I'm with them. Indianapolis Colts, just a very modest 6.5 points. I do like that. Dallas Cowboys money line against the Carolina Panthers. Tennessee Titans money line against the Raiders. They are not the favorite, but they are my favorite dog this week. So they're in the money game, the 5-game parlay. Finally, the final section of the show. We do have our $1 million parlay. Now, if you are new to the show, if you're a brand new viewer, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You know you want to. I would. $1 million parlay. So we want to become a millionaire, and we want to do it the easy way. I think you want to become a millionaire as well, and I think you want to do it the easy way. This is a parlay that is 100,000 to 1 odds. So don't expect it to come out, please. But you throw $10 on there, there's a chance that you're a millionaire after Sunday. Now, I've got Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, and Dak Prescott each to throw 4 passing touchdowns. Matthew Stafford versing the Ravens. He's got Puka Nacua. He's got Tyler Higbee. He's got Devontae Adams. What doesn't he have? Oh my god. Kyron Williams can also catch the ball. 4 touchdowns I think can happen against the Ravens. Justin Herbert against the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been taking points. They are not looking great this season. As I said before, the Chargers don't really have a running game at this time. The word on the street is the Dolphins don't have a good running defense. So Justin Herbert might rush. He might run for some touchdowns himself, which will upset this $1 million parlay. But I think if he just stays true to what he did in week 1, he slings that pill. He slings that shit. 4 passing touchdowns for him. Next we have Dak Prescott against the Panthers. This one's a bit of a long one, I believe. Dak Prescott football though, holy hell. 4 passing touchdowns, I'm with him. I'm with him here. Faith in Dak. Next we got Sam Darnold against the Jags, 3 passing touchdowns. Now I don't think the Jags have really taken that many rushing touchdowns. I do think this is going to be a high scoring affair in Jacksonville. Sam Darnold throwing 3 passing touchdowns, I do believe is a possibility. So let's go. Sam Darnold. I got Jordan Love, 2 passing touchdowns against the Cincinnati Bengals. He has so many targets. Oh my god. He's got 2 tight ends. You know? He's got Josh Jacobs. He's got Romeo Dobbs. He's got Matthew Golden. He's got people getting healthier by the week. Next week, we might have our speedster back. Add another dimension to the game. 2 passing touchdowns, Jordan Love. Let's stop fantasizing. Alright, I've got the Tennessee Titans at -6.5. They do have to win by a touchdown against the Raiders. Colts 13.5 as well. 2 touchdowns isn't too long for that game. And the Los Angeles Rams with a modest -9.5. That's the $1 million parlay. Throw it together. Throw $10 on. Get rich like me. Alright, that was the Sean Show. Episode 8 for Season 2. Talking about Week 6 football. Now, enjoy the game in 2 hours. I'm going to bed because I'm a full-time jobber. If you like the show, like, subscribe, do your thing, don't do it, don't care. I'll be back next week. Peace out.